Do you want me to start?
Yeah, as always. All right.
This is actually like the intro.
You know what? We might as well leave this as the intro. Why not?
Hi everyone. Hello. It's me, Mario.
It's me.
This is okay. Well, first I'll just say hello, welcome to the podcast, Tech Bros podcast. You might remember us from such great hits as episode 1. Here we are back in episode 2. Oh, this is already a great intro.
Oh gosh.
I'm Raj, and I'm here as always with Egerton. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Melting.
Melting. Yeah. So I should say we are recording this on Friday, the 26th of June, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We're deep into still in lockdown times, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really hot.
Yes, it's currently 31 degrees in my room.
And you've got a fan on.
Yes, and it's still 31 degrees.
Is it just doing the constant fan thing of blowing hot air into your face?
Well, no, it's actually a chill max, so I actually fill it up with water.
Oh, looks like we've added another topic to the podcast. Can you talk a bit about your fan?
So it's a chill max. You fill it up with water, and it just blows out cold steam.
Wow, how much is it? I've not heard of this before.
I didn't buy it. My mum did.
Okay.
My mum did, and I stole it from her.
Is it like really good?
You know what? It is actually very good. It's very good. The only problem is when you have it on for a long time, the water does run out, and you have to keep filling it up.
How long does it last for, would you say?
Let's have a look at it now. So I filled it up just before this recording, and it is about halfway through. So, give or take an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay, so it's not like a huge amount of time, I guess.
No.
But it does. If it works pretty well, then that's good.
Yes, and it just brings cold air. It's lovely.
I mean, it also seems like, just looking at it online, that it seems like a fairly cheap alternative to the Dyson stuff, which is horrifically expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is pricey for a fan.
Dyson. What else? There's another brand as well that's quite pricey. But yeah, Dysons are very expensive. Although I must admit, they do the job, but they are very expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, this is your premier fan podcast. What we do with the Fan Bros, we just talk about fans.
Fans.
I mean, we got some stuff to talk about. There's some stuff we want to talk about that's happened recently in the world of tech.
Mm-hmm.
But then also some things that have kind of been on our back burner of things to talk about for a while, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Experiences with products that we've been using for a while.
Yes.
But I think we'll start with most sort of recent news, which is the Apple conference that took place 3 days ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they kind of said that it's essentially like an awful time. So we wanted to make sure that there was something to talk about, that we have this conference, so that you at least have something to take your mind off of the various current affairs that are just depressing.
Yes.
So, I mean, nothing to cheer you up, then a nice bit of consumerism.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So they had a swathe of like OS stuff for the most part.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So, I mean, you can sort of start with the main sort of things that caught your eye.
Okay, so yes, I have a list of stuff that really caught my eye. So iOS 14. Wow. Gosh, iOS 14. How many iOSs are we going to go up to? Number 14. Right, so with iOS 14, they've now introduced a couple of new functions, such as the Translate app. which will have 11 different languages built in.
Mhm.
The picture-in-picture mode, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Samsung already has that, or
Yeah, they already
Android.
got that.
Yeah, they've already got
Mm.
that. Because when I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm very surprised that Apple still hasn't got that function, but it's good to see that they've actually introduced that function now. Um, Digital car keys. That,
Yeah,
that was a very fascinating one. I was like, oh, what is this? And it's something that is being rolled out to BMW cars at the moment, where your
mm.
phone is practically your car key.
I mean, I guess it makes sense in the sense that we already have keyless entry, where a car manufacturer will make it so that your keyring emits some kind of frequency, so that you can just walk up to the door with your key and the door
Yeah.
will open because it
Hmm.
knows that the key is nearby.
Yeah.
I guess one of the issues with that is the fact that you could be quite close. Like, say, if you'd parked outside a restaurant and gone inside the restaurant, you're technically still quite close to it. So
Yeah.
your door could still trigger and open, and then someone could go in,
And then drive off with your car.
and it's like goodbye.
Bye
But
bye.
I guess it's sort of an interesting thing to then put it into your phone. Then I guess it means if you've lost your phone, then make sure you have physical keys as well as a backup.
You would hope so. You would
It's like, I
hope
don't
so.
need these physical keys anymore. I've got my phone.
Yeah,
Everything's on my
throw
phone.
away the keys.
Throw them in the water.
Yeah, I don't need this anymore.
It's not like anything will go wrong. It's fine.
And also, emoji search.
My God, the state of the world in 2020. What we needed the most was emoji search.
Emoji search, which again, is something that Android already had.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy, isn't it?
Very crazy. And usually Apple would be the first people to kind of get these sort of functions. So I was very surprised when I saw emoji search, and I was like, that's not really anything new.
But also, I guess with this and also the picture mode, it's fairly small things.
Mm,
And generally speaking, I think across the conference, a lot of it is small changes to OS. I mean, there's a few like big things we'll discuss, but a
hmm.
lot of it is tweaks and it's stuff that already exists in the other competitors.
Yeah,
But I guess if Apple wants to, again, as we'll get into, kind of silo themselves off and be like, you have to buy into like the Apple vision and dream and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
So you give up a lot of flexibility for other devices. Like everything has to be proprietary.
Yes.
So that in order for you to make that switch, then you have to then have everything that you're getting on the other competitors, including stuff which is fairly minor. But then they
Hmm.
don't want people to look at that and say, well, Apple doesn't have it, so I'm not going to switch, right?
Yes, that is true. That is true. And Watch OS 7.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things that kind of caught my eye on that one,
Yeah.
which was the sleep tracking app, or the sleep tracking feature, actually, which a feature that tracks your sleep. Which then again, I was thinking, that did Apple have that with Apple Watch in the beginning? I don't actually remember if they actually had that, or this is like an improvement to the feature.
They didn't have a sort of a built-in sleeper tracker in the same way that you would if you bought a like a Fitbit. It
Hmm.
doesn't come pre-installed with a sleeper tracker. You would have to have installed some kind of third-party application.
Yeah.
So they're essentially creating their own one, which I think is sort of long overdue because I think one of the most helpful things and one of the first things I think a lot of people will go to whenever they buy a smartwatch, is the ability to track their sleep because it's
Yes.
something that's quite important. And
Hmm.
getting good sleep is a key to being healthy. So it's just weird that it wouldn't be there to start with, that you would
Yeah.
have to go to some sort of third party.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's good that they're at least doing it now.
Yeah. Exactly. And the hand washing feature.
I didn't see this. What's that?
So it because with this whole coronavirus pandemic, that the suggested time of washing your hands is 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So your watch actually counts for 20 seconds for you to wash your hands.
Could you not just set a timer for 20 seconds or something?
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to go into your clock. Then you have to set the timer for 20 seconds each time. But it's a feature that's built in. You just press it, and then it counts down 20 seconds. You start washing your hands, and
Yeah, but
then
then I don't know. Like, does it really save that much time than just getting a timer? Because I mean, it's not like it automatically detects that you're washing your hands, right? Or does it?
no, no.
Okay. I mean, if it did, then it automatically starts a timer. Then that would be cool. But then you have to actually find the feature wherever it is on your watch,
Yeah.
and like be like start hand washing timer, and then yeah, I don't know. It's just
And the thing is, you shouldn't be touching your watch whilst your hands are dirty.
that's true, because then that's going to be on the surface for a while. However long it is.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. And
well, do they think this through?
well, and the thing is, I was looking at this as well, and I said, so after the 20 seconds, what actually happens? Do you get claps? Is there a fanfare? Does your
Yeah, it's just cheering. I don't know.
does balloons come out?
I mean, I mean, I think the best thing is just to do the thing that a lot of people have been doing now, which is to sing "Happy Birthday" twice.
See, and that's what they're trying to get rid of. They don't want people to be singing happy birthday twice.
But then that at least is something that means you're not going to be touching your watch with your dirty hands.
unless you ask Siri to open it for you.
Okay, that's true. That's true. You
Hmm.
could voice activate it. That would make sense.
Yes. You'll be like,
Yeah.
Siri, start countdown for washing hands.
Have you have you got Siri on your phone? Could you do it now and see what it says?
Oh, I'm no longer part of the Apple crew, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I dropped Apple after the battery scandal.
I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially, but you know they have got emoji search now, so surely you're considering going over to Apple.
No, I've still got 2 years on my contract. So
Okay.
I won't be moving over anytime soon.
It takes more than emoji search to bring people
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, it needs to bake me a cake.
I
Then
mean
I'll
that
move
would be a
over.
great feature, right?
Just magic me a cake. And then I'm sold.
I mean that's it. You'd make so much money.
Ah, so yeah, that was mainly the kind of features that could that kind of stood out for me really. It was
Yeah, I
pretty
mean
interesting.
I will say that the translate is pretty interesting. I mean the idea of because you've kind of seen it
Hmm.
touted a lot, this idea of being able to talk to other people, even though you're both speaking different languages, but still being able to understand each other. I
Yeah.
think that in itself is really like that would be huge. Like,
Hmm.
that would change a lot of people's interactions with other people.
Yeah.
Um, I think they have 11 languages off the bat. And obviously it'll take time for adding like any language would be difficult. Um,
Hmm.
and you also just need to make sure like natural language processing is very difficult, and actually making it work properly
Yeah.
is very difficult. And anyone who looked at Google Translate probably has a story of looking at it and
Oh
being
my
like,
God.
it's not really quite right.
I think with that, I used to use Google Translate because we use Google Translate a lot of work because we deal with people from many countries and they don't understand what we're saying and we don't understand what they're saying. So we use Google Translate. And a lot of times when you use Google Translate, what you write, when you translate it back, it's not the same,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is the big problem. So
Yeah.
hopefully that would kind of eradicate that sort of issue.
Yeah, and I think also just it translates words one by one and doesn't really think about how it gets structured grammatically between languages. So, say
Mm,
if you're translating a question like a like in French, if you're saying like "J'ai un chat rouge," that means
mm.
I have a red cat. But if you look at the word order, it's I have a cat red, and then that might be what you get back in Google Translate. I've not tried it, but I think sometimes for more complex sentences, that is what it might do. Is it might
Yes.
spit things out in a way which isn't actually
Mm-hmm.
correct in another
Mm-hmm.
language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, with that being said, let's move over to Apple Watch.
Well, I mean, I would just go back 1 second just to
Oh,
the conference again, because we did talk about iOS, but
yeah.
they basically had like a lot of OS updates. They
Yes.
have like iPad OS, Watch OS, TV
Yeah.
OS, for people who have an Apple TV.
Mhm. I don't have one.
And then Mac OS as well, which is
Yes.
which is important for me because I was really burned by the last Mac OS update
Mm.
where they stopped supporting 32-bit applications.
Oh.
And so basically like a bunch of legacy software or older software would basically no longer work on your laptop
In the
and no longer
bin.
be basically in the bin. And unless they were being actively supported now to actually migrate over to being 64-bit, it just wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just like a bunch of stuff I couldn't use anymore.
Yeah.
That was Mac OS Catalina. Have you seen what the new Mac OS is called?
Silicon.
No, that's something else. It's called Big Sur.
Oh, God.
And that's Sur spelled S-U-R, by the way.
Where do they get these names?
I have no idea.
Honestly.
I just
So where does the silicon thing come into it? Because I did read on it, but I was like,
so
I'm not
yeah,
really
so
an Apple user. I don't know.
no, so the Apple Silicon is basically they're moving over their chips for their MacBooks and their iMacs
Mm-hmm.
to their own proprietary chips rather than using like Intel graphics cards and stuff like that.
Right.
So they've been spending a few years actually developing their own in-house proprietary components, and that is supposed to be, I think, again, this idea of Apple really creating their own ecosystem of being as less reliant on other companies as possible, and really like saying like we are creating our own sort of ecosystem products. Like it's the same reason why they get rid of headphone ports from their devices, and instead you have to use like their own proprietary port. Because again, like they want you to buy only Apple products. Like they want you to be someone with an iPhone, wearing a watch, wearing an AirPod, and having like the whole like shebang, basically.
I don't like I don't like that. It's like it's locking you in.
Yeah.
It's
That's
locking
basically
you
what it's
in.
saying.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit later is with this Apple Glass as well. So that's, again, something that you're supposed to sort of add to it because that's meant to integrate with your watch, your phone, your AirPods. So everything is kind of working together in harmony.
Yes.
Because I guess the reason that Apple is successful is because they build a fan base of very loyal customers who wouldn't necessarily mix and match their technology, if that makes sense. They wouldn't have something that belongs to Samsung and something that belongs to Apple. At least that's quite unlikely, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I own a MacBook and I also own an Android phone. So I feel like I'm one of the weird ones who doesn't really belong to one company. But I think that's their vision, is they want people to be like really invested in them. And so that's why they make everything sort of proprietary to them.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Shall we move on?
I was trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, they said they were going to make Safari faster than Chrome. That was like one of the updates in their new Mac OS.
Oh,
Apparently
that's interesting.
it's going to be like 50% faster than Chrome. Which
Okay.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had.
Okay.
I'll let you move on now.
Right. So let's move on to Apple Watch for kids.
Well, I mean, this was something. I mean, this is an article I should stress in Wired magazine. So it
Hmm.
isn't something that was actually unveiled at the conference.
Yeah.
Um, but it's something that's kind of being hinted at. This idea
Hmm.
that they might be making an Apple Watch directly for kids.
You see, this is my thinking of it, right? Apple Watches are expensive as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to get your kid an Apple Watch?
But kids own iPhones now, right? I mean, they're pretty ubiquitous at this stage, especially like, even for young children. Like they own iPads as well.
I
Whether
know.
you think that's right or not, whether you think that parents should be raising their kids that way, that's unfortunately how it is.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking that, you know, fair enough, you could get kid-friendly apps on there, but
Mhm.
what is your kid going to do? Is this they're just going to be literally just tapping
Happen.
on the screen? That's what you're going to just do. You're going to just be tapping. And I just don't think it's worth buying a kid of a certain age an Apple Watch.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So one thing that the article talked about was that in the next sort of software update, they're going to add this school time mode,
Mm-hmm.
which essentially allows the watch to keep track of activity that the child does, and the child is rewarded for basically going outside and doing exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, it has fall detection as well. So parents, for example, could be informed if the user falls down, which could be useful also for elderly people as well as for children.
Yes.
Um, so I guess it's more of them trying to nudge the focus towards younger users. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the data is in terms of how many young people currently actually have an Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm sure, but definitely there are young people who use Apple products already. So it makes sense that they'll probably go to the parents and say like, "Mummy, I want an Apple Watch," and then their parents will probably oblige in most cases.
No, they shouldn't.
I know they shouldn't, but that's unfortunately the way things go.
And one thing I did spot about that is about the Apple Watch as well, that there is a potential to link watches to one device,
Mhm.
which is another kind of kid-friendly functionality that they are probably going to introduce. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the I think one of the issues is that you have, like, say with game consoles, they'll have parental controls on them.
mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, a lot of existing devices will have it so that parents can go in and control certain aspects of it. So certain applications that the children can use, or
Yeah,
certain things that are displayed and stuff like that. But it's just, it's difficult because a lot of the time parents don't really make use of those features, or they just don't know about them. And
mm-hmm.
so kids just end up using them anyway. And just like using it in the way that they probably shouldn't, or is not appropriate. So it's just, and I mean, it's just the fact that parents buy this stuff for children anyway is the problem.
Yeah,
How old do you think is like a good age to buy a kid an iPhone, for example?
19.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I'm joking. People don't come after me, please. You know what? It's a tough one because it depends how mature your child is
yeah,
and how your child can be trusted. So it will vary.
mhm.
It will
Yeah,
vary. Mm,
yeah. I mean, certainly, I think something like 12 is too young.
mm,
I'd say something like maybe 14 is too young as well.
mm-hmm.
Maybe above that is kind of like you're getting to a stage where it's like, okay, we'll give you like a Nokia brick to start with.
Oh, the Nokia brick.
Like that's fine, right? Like you get them, started on something a little bit smaller, a little bit
Yeah,
less high
basic.
tech. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit more basic. Then you can
yeah,
build them up to something like an iPhone. But certainly, like buying like a smartwatch is like, what are they going to do with it?
yeah.
Because I mean, you have a smartwatch, right? And what is sort of your primary usage of it?
Oh well, this smartwatch that I've got, I've only had it for how long have I had this smartwatch for now?
I think you
Two
showed it to me.
weeks, two,
Yeah,
three
a couple of
weeks
weeks
now.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I use it for a number of things, such as fitness tracking.
Hmm.
So, I walk a lot at work. So to monitor my steps, um, Google Pay as well,
Hmm.
because now we are living in the age of contactless, and contactless is being pushed so much at the moment due to coronavirus because
Yeah.
of contactless payments. The limit for contactless has even been increased. So yeah, contactless payments as well. Um, and also because I have Google Assistant kind of built into my watch, it's kind of a tool for me to use as well.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. None of the things you've said, I think, are things that a child would do
Oh
with a
no.
watch. And yours is a pretty, I'd say, normal case in terms of what people would use a smartwatch for. And
Yeah.
yet, those are like a child isn't using contactless payment. At least I hope not.
Mm.
It's like I don't know if your parent decides to just hook up their card to your watch or something.
Oh, but you know what? Kids are getting debit cards these days, like Revolut. As Revolut, I noticed a while back, they've created debit cards for kids now.
Wow. So how does it
Yeah,
work then?
I don't know, but you know what? It's probably a topic for the next episode.
All right, let's add it to the
Yeah,
list.
we'll add that to the list, definitely.
I could have sworn there was something from last time that we said we were going to discuss this time that we didn't. There's probably someone who is listening and being, oh boy, I can't wait for them to talk about that thing that was really interesting from last time, and then we didn't.
We will double check if we have missed it out. We will try and get it to you before the next episode is out. So don't
or
worry, we
or
have not
or
forgotten.
write to us, and let us know the thing that we forgot.
Yeah, send us a postcard by a carrier pigeon.
Yeah. Otherwise, we have to go back and listen to the whole episode again looking for it. And you know what will happen is what will happen now is next time we'll forget to talk about this Revolut child card thing, and
Oh
then
no,
by
I've
the time
written
we
it.
get no, but by the time we get to episode 100, we would have left something off of each episode, and then we'll have this gigantic gap backlog, and then episode 100 would be the backlog episode.
I will have like 100 postcards for carrier pigeons.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh dear. All right, so that was the watch, uh, Apple Watch for kids,
Yes,
supposedly in brackets.
which might be a thing in the future. At the moment, it's kind of conjecture, and
Yeah,
it could be something that won't happen. But
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually happened.
Mm-hmm. No, neither would I actually.
Like maybe if I'm sure they would pare it down to an extent. Maybe get rid of some of the location capabilities of it. Like for sure, get rid of location services on it, please.
Yep.
Um, like there's a bunch of things that probably just pare back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like is a kid going to be worried about their sleep tracking?
Nope.
Probably not. Even though everyone should be worried about their sleep, a kid probably won't. So I'm sure they
Nope.
can release it and it'd be cheaper and it'll be like a kid's menu of a watch. A happy meal of a watch.
Happy meal of a watch.
I'll
Well,
probably start giving away Apple Watches in Happy Meals, I don't know. It might drive revenue.
can you imagine? And everybody, kids won't even be going for that. Everybody will be going for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Happy Meals will be the number one most purchased meal in McDonald's. Imagine.
Yeah, maybe they'll like give you a chance to win an Apple Watch or something. I don't know. Maybe McDonald's marketing department should contact us.
You'll probably find that in the Monopoly campaign when it eventually comes back. There'll probably be an Apple Watch somewhere.
Oh, did you watch that documentary McMillions? And this is off topic, but this is
I think I
Yeah.
did a while ago. I did.
Really, I thought it was quite recent that it came on TV.
Oh, then it's not that one then. But there was one thing. It's not about the Monopoly campaign, is it?
It is about Monopoly, yeah.
Oh, I watched one a while ago about a Monopoly campaign as well, saying that it's really bad.
Was it the one where it looked like basically a bunch of people were rigging the results so that
Oh
they were giving winning tickets?
no.
Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about. You might have been looking at something else then.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically this whole thing was like the Monopoly scandal in early 2000s, where the Monopoly contest was essentially rigged and someone had access to the winning tickets and was just giving it to people.
You're joking.
Yeah, I had no idea this happened, but this was a thing. And then there's this whole FBI investigation into it. It's a good documentary. You should look at
I need to watch it because I was looking for those winning tickets and I didn't win.
it. Yeah, basically, like if you did the competition in early 2000s, you essentially didn't have a chance of winning because they were just
Yeah.
giving away winning tickets.
I think, what did I even win? I think every time I do that, I just get was it medium fries or a donut?
And it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we
Anyway, this has gone
digress.
off. This has gone slightly off topic.
Yes, we digress. Right. Do you want to explain Apple Glass? Because me, when I saw Apple Glass, I just thought of Google Glass,
Yeah, yeah.
which is practically the same concept. And I was like, so we're heading into that sort of, you know, area of technology once again. I was like, why are we even going there again?
And the thing is that Apple already tried to do this with the this headset, the Magic Leap headset. And of course, Google Glass is something that they tried and failed. But it seems
Yeah.
like Apple, for one, and probably other companies as well, are still not done with the idea of having smart glasses. Um, and so that's why we have this Apple Glass now, which I assume is not the final name because I don't know if they can like actually call it Glass because that's already been done once.
Yeah.
So I assume that's
Yeah.
just the working title.
Yeah, because there's I don't even think there's even any working product yet, is there?
No, so at the moment it's something that uh, they're trying out and there are prototypes done. So currently there are prototypes that have plastic in the material.
Mm.
So the final product likely won't be made of plastic, especially because it costs like $500. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like you're gonna have cheap plastic in it or anything like
When
that.
I saw the price, I was like, so it was saying about £410 or $499. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be that these are augmented reality glasses. They're supposed to have lidar scanning in it, which is, for those interested, sonar is what submarines use, and that uses the reflections of sound, whilst lidar is light, so the reflections of light, so you can see how far away these objects are. Um, and Apple have recently acquired a fair number of AR startups um, in order to actually make this sort of AR glasses a thing.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
the problem is that we don't have a solid product within the scope of augmented reality glasses yet.
Hmm.
Because no one
Hmm.
really knows, like, okay, well, what are we going to use this thing for? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's fancy, but do we have a use for it? Are people interested in it? We don't really know yet because Google Glass already failed.
Yeah, miserably.
Yeah, and I don't think that uh, Apple glasses still really addressed the whole thing of what if people are going to see you wearing these glasses, say if you're out, and how are they going to not going to be like, hey, are you recording me? Like there is still that weirdness of it of you wearing glasses that has the ability to, you know, record and look at the environment when people don't necessarily know what you're looking at
Yeah.
and don't know what you are actually doing in your glasses. So like that's still like a privacy concern. That's still something that will be a concern to people. And it's not like,
Hmm.
Apple making a product is going to change that.
Although I must admit, although with everything that's going on as well, although that may be a privacy concern, I think it's, how can I put it? It will be good for safety.
How do you mean?
Like in case, okay, so in case you're in trouble or something happens to you, and you've got that functionality to record.
It's like a personal dash cam.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you're involved in an accident
Mhm.
or anything like that, at least you've got that sort of functionality.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
So,
if
yeah.
you're a victim of a crime, then that will certainly help. Unless, of
Hmm.
course, the crime is that someone sees you wearing $500 AR glasses and then decides to steal
Steal
them.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you can call it
there's
a
a
day.
yeah, there's a problem there. Oh no.
Oh dear. What else is there? So, just a few things on Apple Glass. So, the stuff that you've also mentioned as well. So, glasses which display information on both lenses. Um, they use controlling gestures both on and in front of the frames as well. Which can you imagine? You're doing that, and then you're touching the count. Then you're touching the glasses, and then you are touching the frame, and it's like it's too much. A bit too much touching. I was like,
Yeah,
what is
I,
this?
I think what people really want is they want the whole Iron Man thing. I don't know if you've seen like in the movies where he's just throwing things around the room like in augmented reality.
Mm,
Like he has like a map and he just like throws it onto the wall or something.
yeah.
Like being able to just feel like you're Tony Stark. That I
Hmm.
think is what people want, but
Hmm.
we're so far away from that.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that you have to like touch your glasses and get stuff to look at, to be displayed on your screen on your glasses,
Hmm.
that's kind of the best we can do right now.
True. That is true. Mm.
But yeah, I think it's just that we don't really know. Like, I mean, what could you imagine like something that you would use like an AR glasses, a pair of AR glasses for? Like, what would you think would be a good use for you?
The AR glasses.
Yeah, like imagine you had the ability to view information through your glasses. What would be useful for you to see?
Oh, let's see. I'm just trying to think. How could I even use it in my everyday life? Um, train delays. Train
Train
delays.
delays.
You start walking out your door. You check with your glasses. Oh, there's delays on the train. Let me take the bus today.
I mean, you do make a good point because I did used to like go to my when I lived and worked in London. I used to go to my local station,
Hmm.
not checking the trains beforehand, so then I'd know when I get there that hey, the trains aren't running at this station today, and
Yeah.
so I'd have to find another way to get there. So I guess yeah, knowing that once I leave the house would have been good.
Hmm. Yeah. What else? And I'm just trying to think. What else?
But I guess it
Uh,
needs to be like something that specifically needs to be done in like AR and through your
yeah.
glasses.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, it's just trying to figure out. We still don't really know whether this is something that's useful, and yet companies are investing a lot of money and time into it.
Yeah.
And it's really up to other developers to figure out uses for it.
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, honestly, you could create some pretty cool experiences. Like, wouldn't actually mind the idea of being able to play like Pokemon Go through my glasses. Something like that would actually work really well.
Yeah. It would actually.
Because right now, if you're playing Pokemon Go, you have to look at your phone
Hmm.
and put it down and look at it again, put it down, look at it again. Whilst if you just
Yeah.
had it on your glasses, it'd be good.
That is true.
So you could make some pretty cool, like immersive experiences,
Mm.
particularly stuff that requires you to actually be out and about and moving. Because I
Yeah.
think VR as a thing, like virtual reality, has had certain uses, but hasn't really been the slam dunk success that I think a lot of people have
Hmm.
predicted. I think.
Mm.
Like it's cool for sure, but I don't
Yeah.
know if it's had quite the impact I think people have expected.
Hmm.
So it could be that maybe AR is like more of a viable solution for people.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think what else I could use it for. Nope.
Just let me know if the train's delayed.
Yeah, just let me know if the trains are delayed so I can start making my way on an alternative route. I don't want to get to the station and find that there's no trains running or that this train delays for 15 minutes. I don't need that.
I guess that a lot of the, I mean, one of the main functionalities of Google Glass originally was supposed to be for navigation, for
Hmm.
maps.
Hmm.
So for viewing information on travel
Yeah.
information. I think that's definitely something that is useful. And I
Hmm.
think, especially if you're walking or cycling or something like that, being able to see a visualization of the route you're supposed to take, like having your own sat nav,
Sat nav.
essentially.
Yeah. Mm.
Essentially, like it turns people into cars. We have a dash cam, and now we have a we have a sat nav, right?
Yes. Yes.
We're just turning people into cars now.
Uh, hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but I think generally it's just hard to think of, ways that we can imagine using something like that and
Yeah.
integrating into our lives.
Hmm.
Because it's kind of a pain as well. Like a watch is fairly unintrusive. Like you just wear a watch,
Yeah.
but glasses is a little bit more of a people notice it more. Let's say.
Yeah.
And what if you already like wear glasses and you need glasses?
Oh, that would be painful. Like you'll just have your own glasses and then you'll try and have to fit your other glasses on top. No, it's painful.
Unless they integrate it into your existing prescription glasses.
Mm. Imagine me taking that to Vision Express to go and to get it sorted. No,
Just,
no, thank you.
so how's it going, Vision Express? I would like some AR on my glasses, please.
Thank you.
So that'll be £500 extra.
Can you imagine?
I mean, it'll be expensive for sure. It's
Yeah,
not going to be cheap.
yeah, and then you'll be without those glasses for about at least 2 weeks because they'll be
Oh
trying
yeah.
to fit in. No, no, thank you. I'm not interested.
Ah, maybe that's the future then.
Perhaps, perhaps.
All
Okay,
right.
let's see. What have you got next? PlayStation 5.
Yes. So, if you listen to our other podcast, shameless plug, Untitled Nerdcast, you'll know that they discussed the PlayStation 5. And,
Yes.
obviously it was a pretty big announcement, something that's been coming for a while. It was supposed to be a little while back, but they delayed it. And so we now have a
Mhm.
good sense as to the new console from Sony. Um, we
Sony.
have we have a lot of details about it, specifically in terms of its game lineup, and I think that's already been sort of discussed on the other podcasts.
Yeah.
But we can sort of focus more on the console itself.
Hmm.
So, what do you think? Have you seen the look of this thing?
So you know what? This is why I love Twitter because people ripped that design to shreds. People ri- and the funny thing is, I think the most funniest one was it was somebody's router and they put two pieces of paper at either side,
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
and I'm
Oh, that was
like,
good.
so not only have they ripped PlayStation 5 to shreds, but they also ripped Xbox to shreds as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks all right.
It looks
Mine,
okay. There's
I
no
think the
problem with it.
controller actually looks really nice.
Yes.
It's got quite a sleek design. I think it looks a lot more interesting than the current PS4 controllers. Like the PS4 controllers now are just sort of all black. I'm
Hmm.
looking at them now. They're over there somewhere. Um, yeah, I mean they're obviously quite sleek, but they're just all black essentially, so it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
But this at least has a bit more going on. There's like the blue lights on the front of it.
Hmm.
Um, one issue I can see is that because it's a white console, it'll go through maybe a similar problem where if you owned like one of the original Nintendo Wii's, white is not a good color for things,
Oh my
particularly over
god.
time.
It turned
So yes, it
yellow.
looks yeah. So it may look nice now, but give it a few years and it won't look so nice.
It turns that yellow color. that you can never get rid of.
Yeah, so I mean, you better look after it. Essentially, like if it's white, then it'll be prone to like the same problems where if you wear like a white shirt and then spill something on
Yeah.
it. That's maybe one issue with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Right. I'm going to mention some specs that I actually
Yeah, go ahead.
noticed on those.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it's the AMD. And this, the funny thing is, I write in such a way that I can't read my own writing.
Nice one.
All right. So I believe it's AMD Gen 2 base CPU with 8 cores. With 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz.
Mhm.
A 16 gigabyte God, I cannot even read my writing. This is so embarrassing because it's like when you're making notes and you're trying to write quickly. Okay, so 16 gigabytes, I believe 6 DDR6 memory.
Mhm.
Custom RDNA. God.
I'm
This
guessing
is
we'll be
so.
cutting out the the specs bit of it
We will be
afterwards.
cutting this out because this is clearly so bad. Right, you know what? Right,
I will
and
say one thing about the specs though.
yeah,
The storage, SSD storage, which is obviously fast compared to HDD, but
uh-huh,
also it's 825 gigs, I think, of storage.
mm-hmm,
So I own a 1 terabyte PS4,
mm-hmm,
and that thing, like 1 terabyte, seems like it's a decent amount, but
mm-hmm,
it fills up like really quickly.
mm-hmm,
And I don't know if 825 gig is actually, because when they say one, like say if you buy a PS4 and it says 1 terabyte,
yeah,
some of that's taken up by the OS and stuff
mm-hmm,
for the PlayStation that it needs to run, basically.
yeah,
It's not actually 1 terabyte, it's less than that. Like if you buy, it's the same with the computer as well. Like a lot of the storage space that you see is taken up by the OS.
mm-hmm,
So 825 is not that much, and you will need to expand that. Like I had to buy a hard drive for my PlayStation. Um, and the thing is that games these days are a lot bigger than they were before. And if you look at some of the games that are coming out for PS5, like they're going to be graphically really powerful, and there's going to be a
mm-hmm,
lot going on. So they're going to be huge games.
yes,
Like just to give an idea, Call of Duty Warzone, a game out now, on
mm-hmm,
my PS4 takes up 120 gig.
mm-hmm.
And that's just one game, and that's already
A lot of
one eighth
space. Yeah,
one eighth of the storage of the PS5 taken up by one
gone.
game.
Yeah.
So it's not really a lot, but I guess storage space is expensive, particularly
Mm-hmm,
for SSD.
mm-hmm. Right, so I'm gonna have a reattempt of these specs now because I have got it up.
If the previous attempt was cut out, it's because Egerton couldn't read his own writing.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave it in there.
Okay.
Right, so the CPU is an AMD Zen 2 base CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz. GPU 10.28 T-flops. Uh,
Teraflops.
teraflops. T-flops.
T-flops. Well, the T-flop
T-flops.
sounds better.
T-flops. With a memory bandwidth of 448 gigabytes per second, I believe. Yes.
That's pretty good.
Um, And the one thing I did see as well, or actually two things. Optical drive is a 4K UHD Blu-ray drive,
Yes.
and also one thing that everybody's gonna like, backwards compatible.
Yeah. So obviously those are both pretty huge things because
Yeah.
PS4 didn't actually support 4K Blu-rays,
Mm-hmm.
and um, now this being able to support it is really good,
Mm-hmm.
and it may even support 8K, which is pretty cool.
Mm.
And then with backwards compatibility, I mean that's just kind of a must, I think,
Oh
because
yeah.
if you don't have backwards compatibility, people will tear you to shreds.
Yeah, because all the other games will have to go in the bin.
Yeah, I mean, there was this whole thing of I think it was when the Xbox One was announced. They had this thing where
Mm,
backwards compatibility was difficult. Like you had to it was like they were charging you for the privilege of being able to play your existing games.
mm,
And then during one of the E3 press conferences, Sony had like a little jab where they said like, "Here's our backwards compatibility uh, policy," and it showed just a guy giving a PS3 game to another person.
oh.
So it's just like, yeah, of course it's backwards compatible. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh God.
So it's just
Oh.
like, yeah, I mean, backwards compatibility is huge, and obviously that's
Yeah.
really important.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you currently have the ability now with PS4 to be able to play older games, so like PS2 and PS games.
Hmm.
But they have like the streaming service that allows you to do that, PS Now.
Hmm.
Um, so that was the way that they approached it there. So it wasn't like you could take PS2 discs and obviously put it into a disc drive, but that wouldn't work, obviously.
Yeah.
But you should still be able to play all games like from the previous PS generations on your PS5, which is good.
Hmm.
And it means that there's just obviously a lot of games that people have for their PS4 that now won't go to waste.
Yeah. Mm. I think I only owned a PS2, and even to this day, I don't play it.
It's a good console.
It's a good console, and the thing is, the only game that I remember I used to have was those PS games. I believe it was a PS1 game where McDonald's would give you a PlayStation game.
Wow.
Yes, McDonald's. I think I've even still got the CD. That's how bad it is.
Wow,
And it
that's
was a
amazing.
PS1 game.
Mm, yeah.
Oh dear. But
So one thing also about the well, a couple of things about the PS5.
uh-huh.
Um, so on the controller, the very sleek-looking controller, they call it the Dual Sense controller. Previous PlayStation controllers were called like the Dual Shock.
Yes, DualShock.
And actually, this is the first time they've changed the name because for PS4 it was the DualShock 4. So this is the first time they've actually changed the name of the controller to show,
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this is something new. It does look pretty similar
Yeah.
to the PS4 controller. They've
Mm-hmm.
changed like the share button, which is something that no one ever uses on the PS4 controller. The idea of being was like you've done something awesome in the game, and then you can just share like the last 15 seconds or something. A touch of button, but no one ever used that.
Who uses that?
No one. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But now they have changed it to the create button, but it seems like it's the same thing.
Just trying to make the name and make it fancy.
Yeah. The controller will have a built-in microphone and speaker, which actually wasn't there on PS4, so you had to actually plug in your headphones to the controller in order to be able to play the game with headphones.
Yeah.
So now you actually have speakers on the controller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how good those speakers will be, because if there's a headphone jack, I'll probably still use that. But I guess it's
Yeah.
nice that you're able to, if you're voice chatting, for example, have that option.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is they still want to support PSVR on the PS5, so it'll still be compatible there. So that's again, I guess, backwards compatibility, but they still want to push for PSVR, which I think definitely is one of the more affordable options in terms of VR.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not necessarily been something that people have clamored for.
Yeah.
But they still don't really want to give up on it. It's a bit like how Microsoft kept like pushing the Kinect, like when they released the Xbox One,
Yes.
still making the Kinect like a thing.
Yeah.
When people were like, we don't care about moving our bodies to control things.
We never did.
We never did.
We never did. Yeah.
One last thing is that we don't have price on the PS5 yet. There have been varying sources that have talked about how much it could be.
Million pounds.
I think realistically we're looking at least like £350.
You think?
Maybe more towards 400.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be around about that area.
I think some sources have said it'll be about $500. Now, how that converts to pounds, well, it
It's
could be
about
like
it's
400.
about 400. It's about £400. Yeah.
Well, it is about 400, but the way things get converted, we end up getting the short end of the stick, so it ends up being like 450. Because they
Yeah.
never
True.
actually convert it properly. They never do the currency conversion from dollars to pounds properly. So we always end up paying more.
And then you add VAT.
Yeah, exactly. So it might end up being like 400, 450.
Yeah.
However, they're releasing another version of the console, which is a digital version. So it actually doesn't come with a disk drive.
I don't know how I
Idea,
feel about that one.
yeah. So the idea is if you want to just buy games from the PS Store, if you buy games just digitally, not physical copies, then you can buy this digital version of the console.
Nah.
And I
I
guess
want
that's supposed to be
physicals.
like yeah, and I guess that's supposed to be like a cheaper alternative.
Yeah.
I mean, as we'll kind of talk about with like the Switch as well,
Hmm.
which we are going to come to.
Hmm.
When you sort of, it's good to have that sort of flexibility to be
Yeah.
able to say, what if someone gives me a copy of a physical game and I really want to play it, but hey, I bought the digital version of the console a year ago, and now I can't play it. So you
Finished.
kind of want to have the flexibility, but it needs to be like if you are actually saving a decent amount of money from buying the digital version, then that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Because also games do depreciate a lot quicker in physical than they do in digital. Like in
True.
digital, you have to wait for a sale,
Yeah.
essentially. Whilst for physical versions, you can then buy like a physical version of the game pretty cheap, like a year later. Like it'll go down in value, essentially.
Yeah.
You just buy it off eBay for like £10, even though it was like £60 new
Yeah.
on day one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
so pricing wise, it'll just need to be a lot cheaper in order to actually make it work.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, PS5 will be coming out holiday this year. So
Yeah.
it's going to be competing with the new Xbox as well. Um, so yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting, and we'll have to see. I mean, we won't talk about the game lineup, but the game lineup was really impressive.
Hmm.
I would say.
Yes.
So definitely some cool looking stuff, and graphically, obviously, the console is going to be pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
Certainly a step up from the PS4.
Hmm.
So yeah, should we go on to the other console?
Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, so we wanted to have a section where we talked about our experiences with the Switch since we both own one.
Yes.
You've owned yours for how long?
Coming up to 3 years now, I
Okay.
believe, for 2.5
I've
years.
yeah, so I've owned mine for about 2 months, I think, 2 or 3 months.
Hmm.
Um, Basically because I thought, hey, I'm going to be indoors. I need something to do, so I bought one. So we've had sort of different ranges of experience, I guess, with the console.
Hmm.
But I guess like 3 years later, I guess now that Nintendo Switch kind of is doing its own thing compared to Sony and Microsoft in terms of
Yeah.
consoles.
Hmm.
What's kind of your experience been with the Switch over your time
You,
of ownership?
you know what? I must say this. I have not had an issue at all with my Switch.
Mm.
I am very surprised. I've had no. Actually, mm,
Unless there actually was an issue.
I wouldn't say no. Actually, it's not an issue. It's my fault. But no, I've had no issues with it. I think I think the only thing I would say is the amount of space that you have, because you
Yes.
can only get a certain amount of games on here, and then after that you have to start deleting.
But did you get a SD card?
No, I haven't got an SD card.
You probably, I mean, I invested in that pretty early on because it became apparent that I wouldn't be able to fit enough stuff on there.
Yeah. The other thing I worry about SD cards is when it starts to get corrupt.
Yeah, that can happen.
That's why I tend not to use SD cards, because I don't want to be losing my progress on my games.
Yeah, but I guess otherwise you won't really have much of an option because I
Yeah.
guess it's the same with my PlayStation. Like I hooked up a hard drive to it,
Hmm.
and it nearly got corrupted because I needed it basically to play Call of Duty Warzone, and it wouldn't fit otherwise. Because
Oh,
again, it's a 120 gig game,
yeah.
huge amount of space is needed.
Hmm. Yeah. So perhaps I'll probably invest in that in the future, but at the moment I don't want to lose my progress. So yeah, let me talk about some games that I actually got on my Nintendo Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go through a couple of them. So I've got Uno. I love my Uno. I've got Monopoly Monopoly for Nintendo Switch, which is quite good as well because you can play with others online, but you need a subscription anyway to do that.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch
Uh,
Online.
yeah, Pokemon Quest,
Oh yeah.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games,
Mm-hmm.
which was expensive, but I gave in.
Oh yeah, that game is expensive.
Yeah. Um, I've got Sonic Mania.
Oh yeah, that's a good game.
What else have I got? Mario Kart 8, which is another expensive game.
I mean, Switch games are expensive. Like, if you buy new games, particularly like the main like stuff, like the Mario Karts and the
Yeah,
Zeldas and stuff like that, like that's like £60.
yeah,
Like, especially
exactly.
if you're buying it digitally. Like, maybe they might be slightly cheaper online, but
Yeah,
Nintendo games don't depreciate, unfortunately. So
yeah,
they
they
just end up
don't.
being expensive for a long time.
Yeah. What else have I got? I've got Overcooked.
Hey, wait, first or second?
Special edition.
Okay, I think that's the first one.
I think that is the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the second one for my PlayStation recently.
Mm-hmm. What else have I got? And the rest are all demos, but the demos I've got is Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Hey, classic, classic game.
I only got it as a demo because, as per usual, that game's expensive.
Yes. I mean that's like a theme, right? Switch games are just they are expensive. And a console isn't necessarily cheap,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean it is like in my case I paid like £330. But that
Mm-hmm.
was a special edition, a
Mm-hmm.
an Animal Crossings special edition,
Animal Crossing.
which came with the Animal Crossings game, which has
Mm-hmm.
been I think it's been surprising how much I've enjoyed it. Just doing some gardening and like saying hi to like the fellow villagers there, and I'm still trying to get Egerton to play
I can't.
it.
I can't relate.
I literally, it doesn't sound like the sort of thing I would like, but I'm surprised that I just care so much about
Mm-hmm.
these things.
Mm.
Like, oh yay, we added like a new bench to the plaza of the village. This is so exciting. It's like, why do I?
Oh, honestly, no, I can't relate. So,
Oh dear.
yeah.
So yeah, my catalog is that I've got Animal Crossing, as I mentioned, which is very
Mm-hmm.
good. I've
Mm-hmm.
got Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, which was very expensive, but it was one of the main reasons that I wanted a Switch, and it infuriates me more than any other game
Ah.
because I'm awful and I keep getting destroyed by people online who spend too much time playing it, and getting good at it.
Oh, I get you.
I have Cuphead, which is really good, but really hard as well. Also infuriating. Have you seen Cuphead?
No, I haven't.
You should look up the graphics. It's basically meant to look like a 1930s Disney cartoon,
Oh, wow.
and it's just a beautiful game. Like it's so well animated and it's so nice to
Mm,
look at.
mm.
Um, and I mean, those are the main things I've got at the moment. Obviously, it's been quite a short amount of time, so that's the stuff I've got so far. However,
Okay.
I've also been playing Tetris 99.
Oh, yes, I forgot. I've got that.
I think I've actually played Tetris 99 more than all of my other games. Actually, no, that's
Tetris
not true. I've
99.
played I've played Animal Crossing more. I just looked. But I played Tetris 99 for like 15 hours.
I don't. To be honest, I haven't played Tetris 99 as much as I play Uno or Monopoly.
It's a ruthless game, but
Mm.
I've won 3 games of it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It feels amazing to prevail against 98 other people
Mm-hmm.
in a game of Tetris.
Tetris 99.
And you have to understand, like, when it starts getting into like the top 10, it becomes like the most intense thing ever because you have like people sending you garbage and you're having to like fend them off, fight, and basically fight for your right to survive
Mm-hmm.
by clearing lines. It's just so good. I'm so amazed by it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how it's like it's the same kind of game as like Call of Duty Warzone. This
Mm-hmm.
idea of it being, 100 players and the last person surviving is the one who wins.
Yeah.
And yet they're both completely different. Like one's a shooter and one's Tetris.
Ah, Tetris 99. Just trying to think what else have I got on here. Um, don't know really. Let's see. Oh, the rest are all demos.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
So
all
one of the
demos.
things I wanted to ask is how comfortable do you find like playing on the Switch?
I have no problem playing with it. I think the only issue that I have with it is if I take the controllers from the actual console and you use it as like a, how would you say, joystick?
Yeah, so like when you turn it on its side.
Yeah,
Or
when
do
you
you mean
turn
like
it
when you
side. Yeah, or
yeah.
you use the adapter thing that they also give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is I find that a bit difficult, but playing with it with the actual console itself, I haven't really got any problems with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised at just how it's really like nicely built and it just feels like
Hmm.
nice to play on. Like,
Yeah.
how a lot of people have there have been games that have come out for the Switch that are quite old. Like they've been re-released for the Switch. And this is like The Witcher 3 and
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands and BioShock recently
Mm-hmm.
have been released. Like these are quite old games, but people want to play them on the Switch because it's portable. So
Yeah.
it means I can play all this on the go,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels nice to play. Like it feels like a new experience playing it on this console, which
Mm-hmm.
is really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised of how just nice it is to play stuff on it. It's just nice to
Mm,
use.
yeah.
That's my like assessment so far. And I guess with the detaching of the Joy Cons so that you
Yeah.
can play on its side.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you need to do that for like multiplayer. Like say if you're playing Mario Kart with people, if you want to
Mario Kart. I
if
think.
you want
Oh,
to take if you want to take them off and then use them on its side to play multiplayer.
I'm just trying to think. Have we played any games that we've had to do that?
Yeah, I mean we played Mario Kart before, right?
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah, I think that was it. Really, I think that's the only time we've had to use those. They turn
Well,
it
I
that
guess
way.
if we played Overcooked, you would have to do that as well.
Oh yeah, Overcooked. Yes,
Yeah. So
I think we've done that.
if you're playing multiplayer with people on the same Switch, you would have to detach the Joy Cons and then use them on its side. And
Yeah.
yeah, they are a bit small, so they're a little bit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's one of those things where if they made it bigger, then it wouldn't be as portable and as
True.
comfortable. I think
That is
it'd
true.
be a bit too big.
Yeah.
And also, what it means is that, say, if you buy a PS4, for example, it comes
Mm-hmm.
with one controller.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically can't play any multiplayer games with it as you buy it. You have to buy another controller. Whilst if you
Mm.
buy a Switch, you can actually get multiplayer straight out of the box, essentially,
Yes.
which is actually quite a good thing.
Yes.
Right? I guess it
Definitely.
better be because have you seen how much like extra Joy Cons cost? They're so expensive. Like my god, they're expensive.
Honestly, that's why I haven't bought any.
Like imagine if yours breaks, you have to invest like £70 in like a new pair of Joy Cons. It's crazy.
No, thank you. No,
It's like wow.
that's nearly about a third of what I've paid. No, thank you.
Mm. I
Yeah.
guess that's probably one thing about the Switch is that it is obviously quite expensive, not just in terms of buying the console, but also like games and accessories for it.
Yeah.
Like it is quite expensive.
Yes.
So that's why I guess that's why they tried to release the Switch Lite.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Switch Lite?
Yes.
So the idea is that you can buy just the handheld version of the Switch, where you don't have to plug it in. So, well, usually with the Switch, you have the option of plugging it into the TV or playing it handheld. But this you can only play as a handheld.
Yes.
But again, like it's going back to the whole like PS5 digital thing of you. It's just good to have the option, and it actually isn't that much cheaper for the Lite.
No, it's
Where
not.
And then the situation will come where people are like, hey, let's play some Mario Kart on your TV. And you're like, oh no, I bought the wrong Switch.
No can do. Sorry.
No can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just good to have that option. I mean, do you play more handheld, would you say?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I play probably way more like handheld, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just good to have the option, right? Like if you wanted to plug into your TV, you can.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Shall we move on?
Yeah. So our last topic.
Our last topic. Our experience with Monzo. Monzo.
Well, it'll be more your experience because I mean, I saw that I saw an article on them and I thought it was interesting, and I know that you've had experience with them that you could discuss.
With Monzo, well, I've been with Monzo for a while now, to be quite honest, a very long while. I was actually an alpha and beta tester for Monzo for oh God, I'm just trying to think, when did they even launch? God, it's been a while.
Wasn't it like 2015?
Yes, God, it's been that long already. Yeah, I think it was about that 2015 time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2015, 2016. So yeah, I've been alpha and beta tester for them. Also, I am an investor in Monzo as well.
Yeah, so you should declare your conflict of interest.
Yeah, I'm declaring it now. I am an investor through crowdfunding, so I have invested money into Monzo.
There you go.
Yes, but I will still tell it how it is.
So if you could kind of explain for people, including me, what essentially Monzo is and how it's different from other ways of managing your finances.
Right. So how can I state it? Monzo is an online bank. Monzo doesn't have any physical branches for you to do any bank transactions there. So everything is basically done online. Customer service is done online. You can't do stuff like put in money into your account via a machine or something. It has to all be done via the app where you would attach you would attach a card and then you just basically get your money from your card to put into your Monzo.
Yes.
So yeah, that's basically it. And with Monzo, and how it's different to other banks is that you can monitor how much you spend, you can categorize your spend, you can put your money into pots as well. You could create pots that with your friends, like if you're going on holiday, you could create a pot and everybody puts money into that pot as well. You can send money to people on Monzo easily as well. I'm just trying to think, is there any other functionalities that I've forgotten?
Isn't it you can freeze your card as well?
Yes, that is it. Yeah, so if your card has been lost or stolen, or you just don't want to use your card, you can freeze it. And a little situation that I was in a while ago where my card was being used without me knowing. And although I physically had the card, it's probably my card details got stolen online.
Mm.
I froze the card straight away, and a card was sent to me in about 2 working days.
Wow, that's very quick.
It was very quick, very quick. So they are very reactive in terms of freezing your card and getting a replacement sent out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it that the company started with prepaid debit cards, right?
Yes. The prepaid Mastercards.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yes, and then they've now moved to debit cards.
Mm. Yeah. So I guess then, in terms of like your like, what would you say? Like, why did you invest in it then? I guess, and what did you sort of see in it?
Well, I think with the plans that they had, I kind of saw potential for expansion. And I used to visit a lot of the Monzo events. Like they'll run an event every month or so
Mm-hmm.
at the offices, which was on Old Street at the time. And just hearing all the plans that they had kind of made me think, you know what, I like the kind of way that they're going. And then all of a sudden the crowdfunding proposal came out. So when that opened, I put some money into it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. And do you think that you're sort of quite happy with the direction it's going in now, and what sort of changes have they been making?
I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I don't think there's, well, personal opinion, I've not seen any negative things from it. Any negative stuff that's happened. I've been pretty okay with it. I don't use it as much as I would like to use it
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to use my Revolut more. Sorry, um, but yeah, I tend to use my Revolut more in that aspect. But
Mm. And I
yeah,
should stress that in terms of negative stuff, there was a little bit of kerfuffle last year because people's accounts were being frozen for no reason, and they actually like they couldn't receive any reasoning as to why their accounts were being frozen.
mm, mm, but I think that's happening with a lot of these sorts of banks now because I know especially with Revolut, it's also an issue with Revolut as well, where accounts are just blocked and
Yeah,
they get no explanation. Um, it could be a number. It could be a number of reasons, but I think it's what's kind of happening with these type of banks where something might flag up and your account is just blocked.
yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, it's I think yeah, it's just a online banking thing really.
And you said that you use Revolut more. What is
Yes.
it that they offer? Is theirs quite similar, or is there anything that they do that Monzo doesn't do?
It's similar, but because as I said that I don't really use Monzo as much, so I'm probably not up to um scratch with what Monzo is actually offering now. But I had a Revolut Metal card, which gave me travel insurance. But I
Mm.
think at the time, I think that option wasn't there for me at Monzo. Also, Revolut, you can have numerous cards as well. So with Revolut, I have one Mastercard, which is my metal card, and a Visa card. So in case, when you're going abroad and the Mastercard don't work or there's a problem with the Mastercard network, you've got a Visa card as a backup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
But at Monzo, you only have the one card.
Right. Okay.
So if that fails, because that Monzo's on Mastercard, if that fails, you're screwed.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's probably just having that sort of option that allowed me to kind of sway more towards Revolut.
Mm. And I guess for people who um, like me who have not necessarily looked much into this idea of online banking, well,
Mm-hmm.
companies that specialize specifically in online banking and doing everything without an actual bank,
Mm-hmm.
very much away from the old guard of like your Barclays and your NatWest and stuff.
Yes.
Like, what would you say, like, to those people listening who might be sort of thinking about it and aren't really sure, like, if it's for them? Like, what advice would you give?
Oh, to be honest, it's a tough one because both have their advantages. Like, I think in my mind, I would still love to physically drop much money into a cash point.
Mhm.
But I think that if you're one of those people that you don't really want to go out to put money into a bank account, or you just want quick transfers and all that sort of stuff without the hassle, then yeah, you can look into your Monzos and your Revoluts or your Sterling Banks or something like that. But yeah, if you're one of those people that you physically want to put the money into the machine, you want to get a receipt and everything, or you still want that physical presence rather than just having a virtual presence, then stick with your banks, because at the end of the day, online banking isn't for everybody.
Yeah. Would you say that you've found yourself using physical means like cash less now?
Um, yes, yes, I would say definitely I'm using cash less um than online payments. This is it's
Yeah.
quick and easy, and sometimes you just don't have time to go to the bank to go and withdraw
Hmm.
money and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, and generally speaking, people are using cashless now these days anyway. Like, it's
Hmm.
just a general trend that people are using contactless and, in
Yes.
some cases, cryptocurrency as well, which we will talk about next time. Hint, hint.
Cryptocurrency. Yes,
But yeah, I think
definitely.
there's kind of a general trend away from using cash anyway, and so
Hmm.
I guess it makes sense that we see companies like this coming up as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking, is there any more Monzo? Oh yeah, there is. So, there was an article about Monzo um, earlier. Well, not earlier this. Well, I was going to say earlier this month, but yeah, I could say it's earlier this month. It was at the end of May, where Monzo wanted to conquer America. I think with that, they're a bit late because Revolut have already done that.
You think that just the market is just too already taken by Revolut?
Well, not really, but you know, to enter the American market is hard because their banking laws are different,
Mm-hmm.
and I know from what I've heard that to enter the American market is not the easiest.
Yeah,
Uh, um, yeah, so they wanted to basically conquer America, and then coronavirus started.
exactly.
So basically, as everybody knows, coronavirus just basically finished everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much frozen everything in place at the moment. Like
Yeah,
anything that businesses want to do, like they can't do now.
they can't do. They will not be able to do.
But it does
Yeah.
that certainly make you think that at a time like this, having an online bank is quite nice because it
Hmm.
means that a lot of what you want to do is fairly
Yeah.
uninterrupted.
Hmm.
Whilst if you needed to actually go to a bank right now, you can't do that.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. And just looking back on this Monzo thing, so with coronavirus hitting, all different companies at the moment, especially with Monzo, there's been reports that basically Monsters is burning through cash.
Mm.
It's just losing money, and in May it actually faced a drop of almost 40% in its valuation,
Mm.
and which is really bad, to be honest. You really wouldn't like to have any drop in your validation, not validation, in your valuation.
Yeah, because they don't really make money in the sense that they just rely mainly on outside investment in order
Yes.
to sort of keep the lights on. And I
Hmm.
guess that's one of the things where if you provide a service like um, banking to people, and I think
Hmm.
if you do, in the case of online banking, where people may not have access to a local bank and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so
Hmm.
it's in a way it's doing people sort of a net good, but
Hmm.
in doing that, it's sort of how do you make money off of that?
Hmm.
Because finance is something that's kind of like it's helping people to manage their money, but then how do you then come in and sort of take a slice of the
Yeah.
cake?
Yeah. Exactly. Which in most cases you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And one thing that I was very shocked about, which I don't think we even got notified about, unless it was mentioned somewhere else, but I definitely didn't get an email, that their co-founder also stepped down as CEO,
Mm.
taking on the role as president. So that was something that really shocked me, because I was like, well, I didn't know, and I've invested in Monzo.
Yeah.
So that was yeah, that was a big interesting thing to read. But
And then also,
yeah.
it's kind of like, I mean, could it well be that it's because of the fact that the company is not necessarily making money, and it'll be difficult to know how you actually fix that?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, would you have some kind of subscription service sort of thing where you ask people for money every month in order to keep using the service or something like that?
See, the problem with subscription services is that a lot of people don't like using it.
Yeah, exactly. Because then obviously you have people who have already gotten used to not
Mm,
having that.
yeah.
And then if you ask people to do that, they'll just be like, well, no.
See, and a company to mention that to mention who did that was Wink.
Hmm.
So Wink, just on a side note, Wink was a free service um, for like all your devices and all that kind of stuff. Wink then made the announcement with less than a week's notice. Oh, we're moving to a subscription service.
Mm,
The amount of people that said they will not move to a subscription service, people don't like subscription services, especially when you have something that is free. And because you seem to be in a financial downturn, that you then say, okay, we're going to move everybody from a free service to a paid subscription service. You can't do that. There is laws that prevent you from doing that. And
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it's just in general, people don't like subscription. If people really wanted a subscription, they would go to another company that's offering subscription. They wouldn't come to your company if you're offering something for free.
Exactly.
So yeah, those subscription services, no one likes it.
So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them, I guess. I
Yeah,
mean, does that make you sort of concerned as as an investor?
to a certain extent, yes, because as I said, I'm learning information that I didn't know.
Mm,
So it does bring very big question marks at the moment, that where are they communicating these changes?
yeah.
And two, you know, they've not sent us anything.
Yeah. I mean, you should communicate with customers saying like, hey, we parted ways with our CEO. This is why, and this is our
Mhm.
future vision, and this is what we plan to do. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So it's good
Yeah.
to be transparent.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wow, that was very interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of transparent, there was something I forgot to say, which is that Nintendo Switch's online is not very good. I just wanted to say that.
Oh my god. It's one, it's not even good. And two, before you know it, you buy the subscription, before you know it, it's expired.
Yeah, I mean, you pay like £20 for the year, and you get a bunch of SNES games for free, which is kind of nice.
I,
Um,
I can't play them. I get confused. I'm like,
yeah,
so what
because
is this supposed to be doing?
yeah, they're like very old games. There are quite a lot of them though. But it's not quite as impressive as like PlayStation Plus, which like gives you 2 free games every month, and they're like good quality, like premium games.
Mm.
Not just SNES games, which you can probably play online, honestly.
Yeah.
um, they're not that exciting in
Mhm.
comparison. But then also like in Smash Brothers and to an extent in Tetris 99, like the online can be a bit shoddy at times as well.
Mhm.
And that's even like without sort of internet problems. Like you can still have times when your match gets disconnected and stuff, which is just not great.
Yeah. I will not be buying. And again.
Yeah.
And again. Never.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that because I was going to say
Ah!
it.
Oh dear. But
uh,
yes.
on that note, I think that's all we had. It's been
Yes.
a long one. How long are we going for?
When did we even start?
I think
So
we're going for like over an hour and a half.
yeah. Wow.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
Exactly.
Anyway, we'll be back with the next one. Do we want to like tease maybe what we're talking about next time? Give people like a little bit of a
Oh, do I really want
breadcrumbs.
to? Do I really want to? I'm thinking, how much should I actually give out?
I mean, we already gave like a slight hint.
Cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
but we won't say which cryptocurrency, but we'll say
Okay.
cryptocurrency.
And I will say there is something else we talk about, which is quite like a big thing. You're looking at me confused.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I'm like, do you want to tell them that as well?
No, I mean it's like, but it is like a really like. Okay, I'll just say like at this moment in time, it's
Mhm.
really important. Like it is very important.
Yes, it is
You might
very
even say
important.
you might even say vital
Yes,
for our current time and era. But we will
yes,
talk about that next time.
exactly.
But anyway, thank you all for listening. If you made it all the way through this one, uh, tell all your friends about the things that we do.
Yes, and tell them to listen as well.
Tell them to listen. Tell them to leave nice comments and stuff.
Yes, because if you leave nasty comments, I'll read them and I'll delete them.
Exactly. Report you to the FBI.
Yes, and they'll come after you. Oh gosh.
Anyway, hope you're doing well, and we'll hope to have you for the next one.
Huh? And,
Bye.
and stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Sing happy birthday
Wash your
twice.
hands.
Get a
Don't touch your
timer for like,
face.
ask Siri to give you a timer for 20 seconds.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
Bye bye.